Lalibela, we are in Ethiopia, and once again, we step into a story where the Bible meets history. Prepare yourself for a mysterious story, because what you are about to see is not easily forgotten. And now we go back in time, 1187 AD. In the mountains of Ethiopia there was a king, and that night a single piece of news changed everything. The news was heavy. Saladin had taken Jerusalem. Christians could no longer go. Gethsemane, Golgotha, the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, closed. And that night, Lalibela thought, what if Jerusalem came to my people? That night he had a dream. Jesus Christ came and said, build a church here, inside the rock, a true Jerusalem. When Lalibela woke up, he knew one thing: he had work to do. That is how it began. Hammer and chisel, nothing else. 11 churches, each from a single rock, because one crack could ruin everything. Bita Medhan Alam, one solid rock, 8,000 square meters, the largest of its kind. First the outside was cut away, then the inside carved. One mistake, and everything was lost. Look at those hands. Every day they struck the same blow. The hammer rose, then fell. And when night came, the legend said the angels kept working. Is it true? We do not know. But those churches are still there. After 24 years, Lalibela looked upon the first church he had carved. Rock was everywhere. But this was not a dungeon. It was the house of God. Lalibela knelt and said, this is your house, because the hands carved the stone, but the true architect was someone else. Lalibela designed this city with purpose. A channel runs through it, called the Jordan River, and every church represents a place. Golgotha, Gethsemane, Bethlehem. When the first pilgrims arrived, they realized what they had been seeking was here. Those who could not reach Jerusalem were now in a Jerusalem of their own, in their own language. We are speaking of a woman. She had walked for months. Her feet were wounded, and when she touched that stone, she wept, because that stone had given her Jerusalem, and what gave it to her was not a king, but faith. Bete Georgis, the Church of St. George, Lalibela saved it for last. He carved it into a deep pit, and when you look from above, what do you see? A cross. Perfect, precise, symmetrical. There were no planes, no satellites then, and yet that cross was flawless. Modern engineers looked at it and said, even today this would be hard to build, because one mistake could bring everything down, but they did it 800 years ago. This place is still the same today, and people still come. Step inside. Stone walls surround you. Incense fills the air. Footsteps echo as if the stone is praying, because the same prayer has risen here for 800 years. The problem was rain, harsh and destructive. But the channels controlled it, and the system has worked for 800 years. Lalibela built 11 churches. Then he closed his eyes. He was buried inside the church he built. And there, the same faith still lives. 200,000 people every year. Some walk for weeks, barefoot, white robes, and when they arrive, they touch those stones. 800 years later. Every Christmas night, 200,000 people gather here. They pray, sing, and worship until dawn. They walked for weeks for this night. When they kneel before those stones, Lalibela's dream lives on. Jerusalem is here, in their language, in their stone. He walked for months, his feet are wounded, but now he is here, and that stone is not just stone, it is 800 years of faith. The same books are opened 800 years later, the same language, the same prayer, because stone does not change, and neither does faith. Lalibela holds another secret, the Chapel of Selassie. 4 apostles are seen, 8 remain behind a curtain. Why? No one knows. 11 churches, each carved from a single rock, and they are still places of worship today. 800 years passed, wars came, famines came, but these stones still stand. 800 years, no Ottoman Empire, no America, yet these churches are still here. The same stone, the same faith. But where did Lalibela's faith come from? To understand it, let's go a little further back in time. 330 AD, King Ezana was baptized, and from that day on, faith began to flow through these lands, from Ezana to Lalibela, 900 years. Each generation left something behind. Then Lalibela came and asked, "What will my generation leave?" The answer was inside the rock. Modern engineers studied those channels, and they found this. Everyone was cut at the right slope. There was no GPS, no calculator, only rock, hammer, and faith. Beat Emmanuel, almost entirely underground. To carve a structure like this, everything had to be known from the start, because with the first strike, there was no turning back. And the tunnels, narrow passages connecting all 11 churches, this was no accident, because Lalibela built his own Jerusalem underground. Look at this map. Beit Golgotha, Bethlehem, Beit Mariam, each one a piece of Jerusalem. Lalibela turned Jerusalem into stone. Beit Golgotha, Lalibela's holiest church. Inside are carvings of the 12 apostles, and Lalibela rests here in the embrace of stone. The Chapel of Selassie, 8 apostles behind the curtain, hidden for 800 years, because sometimes the unseen is stronger. The same every night, darkness outside, light within, and that light has not gone out for 800 years. We return to today, the same land, the same rock. 800 years later, those churches are still there. 800 years they saw invasion, they saw war, but they did not fall because they were born from within the rock. You descend into Beit Georgis. The steps are narrow, the stone is cold, and below, the cross stands there, perfect, as if made by human hands, but not by human strength. This book is 800 years old, and the same words are still read today, because the Word of God does not change. And they still come today, walking hundreds of kilometers, and when they touch those stones, they feel it. God is here. This was Lalibela's vision, a doorway for those who could not reach Jerusalem, and that door has been open for 800 years. All it takes is faith. Lalibela left something behind, not stone, but meaning, faith, and that faith is still there today, in every prayer, in every step. 200,000 people every year. Why? Because when they touch those stones, they feel something they cannot explain, but know is real. Lalibela tells us this: nothing is impossible. One man could not go to Jerusalem, so he made his own Jerusalem in the rock, and 800 years later, it still stands. Lalibela tells us this: nothing is impossible. One man could not go to Jerusalem, so he made his own Jerusalem in the rock, and 800 years later, it still stands.